Hello and welcome. My name is Kojo, also known as musician Karma Houdini. You can find my original music as well as my cover songs here on this YouTube channel or on any music app you're familiar with, like Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Bandcamp, Amazon, so on and so forth. I also play lead guitar in the progressive power metal band Master Sword. Our music is kind of inspired by The Legend of Zelda, and we have female vocals, so if that sounds interesting to you, be sure to check out our most recent album, The Final Door. Hope you'll like it. Today I'm going to be reviewing an album, which I haven't done in a while. It's the new album by Trivium called In the Court of the Dragon. So I've probably mentioned it in some other videos before, but I am a huge Trivium fan. And they're probably one of my favorite bands in metal music, and they have been an influence on the way I play guitar and write songs, I would say. If you listen to some of my original material or some of the things I've written with Master Sword, you can probably hear it. But yeah, I love them. And this new album does not disappoint. It's really good. Like, I wasn't 100% sure how much I would like it when they did the first single, In the Court of the Dragon. It's the same name as the album. They released the single on its own, a couple months before the album came out. And the mix on it at first was not very good. I think by the time the full album came out, they fixed the mix. Because the mix on the original single, it sounded weird. It was too trebly and awkwardly compressed. But on the actual album, that song sounds fine, and so does the whole album. The album sounds quite good. It's hard for me to say, but I still feel like their previous album, What the Dead Men Say, might have a slightly better mix and sound engineering thing going on overall, but it's not a big difference. I really liked What the Dead Men Say, their previous album. I liked it a lot. I also really liked Sin in the Sentence, the album before that. Honestly, ever since Alex Bent, their current drummer, joined the band, they've just been knocking it out of the park, back to back to back. This is the third album. Yeah, this is the third album with him, and all three of those albums have been great. This one it's hard for me to say because it's still somewhat recent. It's been, I think, less than a month since this album came out. I'm recording this on November 2nd. And this album came out in October. So yeah, it's been less than a month. So it's hard for me to say whether I like it more than those other two, or it's hard for me to rank them. I can't really create a hierarchy for them, but that's not that important. What I'm going to do is talk about the songs on this album. So you start off with a sort of intro track that's just called 10, Roman numeral 10. That track is just orchestration that was done by Ishan. So yeah, that one it's fine, but it's not like a Trivium song. It's just kind of building suspense and sort of previewing some of the musical themes that are about to come. And then it launches into In the Court of the Dragon, which is the title track, which it's a really good song. It is not my favorite song on the album, though. It has a really good hook. That part is really cool. The chorus is really good. Let me see if I can find it here. And that's a common theme throughout this album, is that the choruses are really good, and that's been the case for this band for years and years and years. Honestly, even all the way back on Ember 2 Inferno, their first album, they've always had good choruses pretty much. It's rare for them to have bad choruses or weak choruses, but yeah. And something that I really notice about this album compared to even the previous two albums is that they are just really playing their asses off, especially Alex Bent. He's just going all in on the drums. There's some parts where Paolo on the bass is showing off tapping licks and cool bass lines. The guitar riffs are there. I feel like this album is a bit more technical than the past two albums, and by extension the past 3 or so albums. This one is probably one of their most technical albums, but it's not totally crazy out there like some parts of Shogun or The Crusade were, or even maybe some parts of Ascendancy. But I really like when they get technical, personally, because I'm a huge prog metal fan, so if they get technical, I enjoy it. I even feel like they could go a little bit more progressive sometimes than they tend to, but I'll take what I can get. I'll take the crumbs I can get. Regardless, this is a really good album. They're showing off their chops, but the song structures are always solid for the most part. There are a couple times where I feel like maybe the transitions are a little bit slapdash, but it's pretty rare. It's like only like 1 or 2 instances on like the entire album where I felt that way. Yeah, In the Court of the Dragon is a great like opening track, title track. It's good. I like it a lot. If I have a complaint about it, it's that maybe it takes a long time before you get any clean vocals in the song. And I guess I feel like Matt's harsh vocals on that song are a bit too monotonous in the beginning. So it starts to become a little bit grating. Like normally he varies up the pitch of his harsh vocals, but for some reason on that song, I feel like the first like 2 minutes, he's screaming at like the same pitch. And that's something that kind of grates on you a little bit. I got used to it. It doesn't really bother me that much, but I can definitely see it bothering some people. And I remember seeing some comments about it on like YouTube when the song was first unveiled. But regardless, it's a really good song. Some parts of it are reminiscent of Ember to Inferno, the first album. But it's, you know, it's a mishmash of everything they've done so far, pretty much, while still sounding kind of new, which is true of the whole album. Next song, Like a Sword Over Damocles. This is easily one of my favorite songs on the album. Like that first, that main riff there is so good. It's just a really cool song. Really, really good chorus. Let me see if I can find that. So yeah, it's just really good, and you can hear Paolo doing the backing clean vocals there. Matt's clean vocals are so good on this album. Like he gets slightly better like over time with each album, and like he does not disappoint here. Great solos and leads on this song. Just an amazing song. Like, this song is probably like a 10 out of 10, like straight up. Like if I were to give a rank to In the Court of the Dragon, In the Court of the Dragon is like an 8 out of 10. Sword Over Damocles is like a 10 out of 10. Then we have Feast of Fire, which is kind of like, I guess you could say it's like a radio-friendly track. This is one of the singles they released before the album came out. I like this song a lot. When I first heard it, I was a little bit lukewarm on it when it came out as a single, but when you hear it in the context of the album, like when you're listening to the songs in order, this is why sequencing matters, and it's a shame how nowadays people don't really want to listen to full albums in a row, like the songs in a row, because it does make a difference. The sequencing matters a lot, to me at least, and to the people putting the albums together. But when you listen to this song after Sword of Damocles and before the next one, Crisis of Revelation, it just fits in there perfectly. It's a very melodic song. It's groovy. It's more mid-tempo. It's a bit slower. So it's just a nice, really grooving song. I really like the main bass riff that the verse is built around, and then in the middle of the song, there's like a breakdown it's almost it's just like this groove metal breakdown with bends on the strings and stuff. It's a pretty straightforward song, pretty simple. If you had to learn a song on guitar from this album, this would probably be the easiest one to learn. So if you wanted to do that, you could do that. Maybe I'll do that at some point, actually. Yeah, it's a good song. Great chorus. That's really fun to sing along to. And this album really grew on me the more I listened to it. Like the first time I listened to it, I was like, yeah, it's alright, but maybe stuff didn't stick out to me as much as I wanted. But every time I listened to it, it just got, it sank its hooks, its dragon claws deeper into me bit by bit. And I just couldn't stop listening to it. Like even now, weeks later, I'm still listening to this album, here and there throughout my week. It's just so good. The next one, Crisis of Revelation. Great drum fill to kick off the song. Very, very traditional Trivium song. It's very much like Ember to Inferno, Ascendancy, the first couple of albums. It's got that sort of rhythm that they love doing, they love doing triplets in between like quarter notes or eighth notes, that kind of thing, and it's got that all over. It's it really kind of reminds me of, if I were to pick a specific song, it reminds me a lot of the song Ascendancy off of the album Ascendancy, but it's very much its own thing. It's got great musicianship. This one is one of the ones where they're really showing off. Great guitar harmonies on the riffs. Like, see, this part really reminds me of Ascendant C. Here we go, it's the chorus. Yeah, it's just great musicianship all around in this song. I really like this song. If I have one complaint about this song, I would say this is one of the ones where there's like one transition that's a little weird to me. It's when they go to the bridge in the middle. So like after the second chorus, you know, they just kind of change key and everything, and the rhythm and tempo all of a sudden. Like it's not egregious, it's not a big deal, but I feel like maybe there could have been a more elegant way to get to that middle bridge, but I got used to it the more I listened to it, which is usually going to happen with any song. Even if something seems a little bit weird, as long as it's just a little bit weird, you'll get used to it. Oh yeah, if I was going to give numbers to... I don't really like giving numbers to things, but people like numbers, so let me just do it. And I already did it for the first two songs, so might as well keep doing it. So for Feast of Fire, I would guess Feast of Fire is like another 8 out of 10, maybe even 8.5 out of 10 if I'm going to give half points. It's really strong, like I said, but it's sort of a simpler, more straightforward song, but it's a great, catchy song. Cresses of Revelation is like a 9 out of 10 for me. It's really good. I love it. And then now we're on Shadow of the Abattoir. Shadow of the Abattoir is a 10 out of 10. Just like Sword Over Damocles, Shadow of the Abattoir, 10 out of 10. It starts off with like this clean part, you know, you have clean guitars, you got Paolo on the bass, introducing the chord progression. There's a lot of orchestration in this song. But this song has a great main melody. It starts off with this calm part. You know, you've got Matt singing really low register. It kind of reminds me of like the intro of one of the more like longer epic Iron Maiden songs. You know, like Hallowed Be Thy Name or Dance of Death. You know, things like that. The chorus in this song is so good. And this song has like a whole section in the middle where they just go nuts. Let me see if I can find the part. You know, it gets heavy. They go to all these different places. Guitar solos trading off, fast riffs, screams, breakdowns. It's great. And then, you know, you get the blast beats with the main riff. And I think the standout of the album vocally, for me, is, yeah, that part. Like, I don't think I've ever heard Matt go up that high. You know, I can't really think of... There aren't that many instances where he goes up that high. That is really good. I think that'll probably be really hard to pull off consistently live, but, you know... He's a professional, you know, vocalist and guitarist, so I'm sure he will make sure he's able to do it if they choose to play this song live. I hope they play this song live. I'd love to see them live again. I haven't seen them live since like 2009, if you believe it. Next one, No Way Back, Just Through. This is another more straightforward song. It's pretty melodic, very groovy. I always love a good groove. But this song's not as good as Shadow of the Abattoir. This song, No Way Back Just Through, it's probably like an 8 out of 10. Which is like, I mean, you've seen so far the lowest score I've given is 8 out of 10. So like, there are no bad songs on this album. Like, they're all very good. It's just that some are like exceptionally good and some are just really good. So yeah, that song's good. The chorus definitely gets stuck in your head. It's a hooky song. This is one that could be played on the radio. I think it's the song that reminds me the most of Silence in the Snow. It also kind of reminds me of Vengeance Falls. So yeah, particularly the chorus part, but like just in general, it gives you that kind of vibe, just with better drumming. Yeah, not to throw shade. And then after that, we have Fall Into Your Hands, which this song is really good. It starts off with this cool drum beat. I really love the verse riff in this song, and there's that kind of pattern again. That they love doing that. So Yeah, it's just really good. And then like the pre-chorus is amazing. Like this song just goes, it's really aggressive, it's really fast, just hits you hard, you know. But then, you know, you get to the chorus. Chorus is, you know, really nice and pretty with this rolling drum groove underneath it. So I think Fall Into Your Hands probably a 9 out of 10. Yeah, it's a 9 out of 10 or maybe a 9.5 out of 10. It's not a 10 out of 10, but it's like a 9 or a 9.5, so it's really close. Then we have the second to last song from Dawn's Decadence. So, yeah, this song, at some points, actually kind of, like the verse section. This reminds me of Dream Theater. I don't know why. It reminds me of, like, Octavarium era Dream Theater. If you're familiar with Dream Theater, maybe you'll pick it up as well. It kind of reminds me of, like, what's it called? Panic Attack, or Never Enough. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Octavarium style Dream Theater during the verse. The chorus in this song is amazing. It almost feels like a Latin melody or something. I don't know. I really like the chorus in that song. This song in general, I would say if I had to rank this one, I think this song is a 9 out of 10 as well. It's a 9 out of 10. Now we come to the last song, the Phalanx. So Phalanx, this is a song that was apparently something that was pieced together from, like they started the song way back during the Shogun era when they were writing for Shogun, but they couldn't quite finish the song or put it together how they wanted. They came back to the idea and reworked it and finished it for this album, The Court of Dragon. So Phalanx definitely has some Shogun vibes during it, like right from the first riff, like that first melody, like it sounds like something you would hear on Shogun for sure. I didn't actually love the song the first time I heard it. I did like it, but just like most of the album, it grew on me the more I heard it. So now I do like the song. I do feel like maybe the song is actually too short. It's 7 minutes, 7 minutes and 16 seconds, so it is a long song. In fact, it is the second longest song on the album, I think. Yeah, it's the second longest song on the album. Only Fall Into Your Hands is longer. But, you know, I mean, I like Dream Theater, like I said, I like prog music, so of course I want it a little bit longer, right? I think the song could be like 1 minute longer, at most 2 minutes longer. I feel like there's a point, like during the middle, like during the bridge where all this, you know, crazy stuff is happening. I feel like you get to the end of it and then they're just like, oh, well, we need to get back to the main part of the song, or we have to get to the outro. And so the song just kind of like cuts off and then they're at the outro riff. I feel like they could have tied themselves from the middle section to the outro in a more elegant, interesting way, as opposed to just kind of cutting off what they were doing and then starting the outro. I feel like they could have done something a bit better there. So that part bothered me a lot the first time I heard the song, but you know, now that I've listened to it multiple times, it doesn't bother me as much. But I still feel like they cut the song shorter than it needed to be. I feel like the song had more to say. But obviously, I'm sure they don't. I feel like Trivium doesn't ever want to go super crazy proggy because they probably feel like they'll lose their audience and you know, people have short attention spans or whatever. But I would have liked it if the song was like a little bit longer. But yeah, I mean, regardless, it's a really good song. It's a great closing track. I don't think it's as good as the title track Shogun on Shogun. Like that is an epic closing track. I don't think they've topped that in terms of doing that kind of song, but this is a really good song, and it has a great pre-chorus. It's got a good chorus, you know, cool solos, cool breakdowns and riffs and stuff. It's just good all around. But I would say Phalanx is probably like an 8.5 for me. It's a good song. It's like an 8 or 8.5 out of 10. It's still a really good song. So as you see, there was not a single song on there below 8. So overall, I really loved this album. I think I do like it a little bit more than what the Dead Men Say, and I do probably like it more than Sin in the Sentence. So out of the Alex Bent era, it's probably the best album. This is one of their best albums, I think. Maybe someday I'll do a tier list or a ranking of all 10 of their albums. But yeah, this was really good. You should check it out. If you haven't listened to Trivium before, check out this album and check out their previous albums as well. They don't really have an awful album. The only one that I would say is contentious is The Crusade, which is their third album. And their first album, Ember to Inferno, I really like, but that's definitely a hard sell unless you're somebody who is able to be like, well, yeah, it's their first album. The production wasn't that great back then, and Matt wasn't that great of a vocalist yet. But you know, he's doing what he can. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know these reviews aren't as popular as like just reacting to stuff, but I really loved this album and I wanted to talk about it somehow. So I hope somebody watched this all the way through. You know, all two of you who watched this video this far, thank you. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You know, get this video seen. Share it with your friends, whatever. And you can check out the links in the description to find my Discord, Twitter, you know, all that good stuff. And you can also subscribe on Patreon for $1 or more to support the channel. And if you become a patron, you get benefits such as getting videos early, getting music from me early, and getting to vote on the content I'll do next, such as songs that I will cover, music that I'll react to, so on and so forth. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.